Just cover that extension.
No, right.
Yeah, just yeah.
Okay. I'm going to run up to the vans and run up the ramps and run back the ramps. If you track me, Andy, at the same time, Dave, you be pulling the car out. Right, we can roll whenever you want, Andy. You let us know when you're ready.
Rolling, because I felt nice for that. I'm rolling.
Okay, smoke. And winch, Dave. Oh yeah, sorry mate. We're here with Ash's car, so off Dave's trailer for part 2 of the film now. Richard Valentini on board for our engine guru is here. A quick jet wash down. We flushed through the system, me and Richard just took the pipes off and flushed through. It was quite cruddy. We're now just letting it get up to temperature. I've just jiggled the timing in a little bit. Carburetor's come back online and looking alright. So just letting it warm up. We're going to now get the oil swap, check the spray bar. We're going to get it undercover. Bramble goes out. Tina G's already out. Swampy and Ruby are in the garage. So we're going to reverse this now. Richard's going to do it. Off we go. Put some fuel in it. It needed a little bit of fuel. Just got to watch it because the dash is out a little bit. But we're going to do it. Initially the engine's sounding really good, to be fair. It just needed a little bit of tweaking. There was a loose connector on the coil and that was causing it not to start. As I say, the coolant system needed totally flushing out. We're now going to change the engine. Hopefully the gearbox is alright. It's looking good so far. Reverse lamp switch will need some work. No reverse light, so we'll start looking at all these things. Vivian is in the garage. Okay, Richard, hit it. Wow, yeah, looking good straight away. Signs of life, everybody. Okay. Switch off and let's just get to work. So, whatever our engine man wants to do. What do you reckon? Oil or brakes? Brakes, really, I reckon, or?
Brakes, yeah.
Let's do the brakes.
Brakes on it.
Let's get stuck into the brakes. We'll flush through the dot 4. We'll fit the caliper, check the calipers. I know you were working that side because it locked the wheel when you were coming in, I noticed, so it should be good there. We'll check the back drums, because the main thing is, if you want to start at the beginning, brakes, lights, if this is going on the road, all the essential basic ingredients first, and then we'll hone in on the smaller details later. It's just a busman's holiday for Richard. In case you don't know out there in YouTube and Patreon, Mr. Valentini is a mechanic, and this is his busman's holiday. Poor guy, we brought him in on his day off. He's sick to death of pulling an engine out of a transit the other day. I've had enough of these cars. Please don't do this to me. Ash, it's all your fault. It's Ash's fault.
This is enjoyable compared to modern cars.
Right. Yeah. We see some of the miracles you do down at your garage. Okay, axle stands. Andy the Lens is on his way down. It's a party. And let's get to work. I'll get the star brace out. I'll catch you guys in a sec. We're going to get the caliper fitted. Wait. Calipers on, brake bleeding in. Let's go. In theory, anyway. The Easy Bleed brake kit for this. So you get a little vessel there that you fill up that I never knew all the years I've been using them. Thought it was a catchment tank for water, but it's not. You fill your Easy Bleed bottle with fluid, .4, put the cap onto your reservoir there, press it up on an old tyre, or the tyre that's on it, and hopefully something comes out. At the moment, nothing. I've got a feeling this is going to be block line because, I'll tell you why, it never was dribbling out on the floor when we were driving the car and pressing the brake.
No.
So we've got a nip up. I think they might have closed the pipe somewhere so that he could move the car without fluid going everywhere. So we'll just investigate this. They've probably capped the line here. Let's go and have an investigation. One blocked flexi. Ooh, nasty, Richard, nasty. Wow, I never known. Yep, I've never known a blocked flexi. Anyone out there ever known a blocked flexi? Richard, have you ever known a blocked flexi?
Collapsed flexi, never like that.
And also withstood the pressure of pressing the brake pedal and no fluid was pouring out. Oh well, we've got one in stock, luckily.
You want to go on?
Put that on the parts list. Let's get it fitted. I've been doing a bit of wiring clean up, ready to do the oil filter as well. Oil filter and oil change too. Plenty going on. Bubbling now.
Bubbling away, there she goes. Got the air travelling through.
Great.
And there's the air gone. We've got a bit more on there.
Still plenty of fluid up here. Bleeding through now. That hose was blocked. That flexi hose, folks, was blocked. With the brakes bled through, we now go on to check the spray bar, the all important spray bar on the engine. That's the cam spray bar. So, if you didn't know, Pinto engine has a little spray bar to lubricate the cam followers and what they got, the lobes of the cam, and they're notorious for blocking up. So if you've got a Pinto, you're unsure of its history, you want to be cranking over your engine slowly with the HT ignition leads off so it doesn't fire up, and just get someone to check the oil pumps out of the little lubrication holes on this spray bar here and then lubricates the contact faces of the lobes to the followers. We're checking that now. It looks good initially. All the lobes aren't scored, they're nice and shiny. I think we'll just turn it over and see. Also, you've got to fit a new gasket. There's some hematite sealant on this. We'll have to scrape it off, then vac out. What you don't want to do is get debris going inside here. So when we scrape this now, Richard's doing it with a blade. We'll then have to just carefully vac out. In fact, we could blow out of an airline. Or no, we want to vac out. We blow out of an airline, it could get into the drain channel. So we'll vac out the best we can. Checking the spray bar, brakes are bled. Okay, Rich, what do you think of the oil?
Pure mixture of petrol and all that.
Nasty stuff. So our oil is bad. I've just drained this oil off.
Got a lot of petrol run through it.
Okay, let's get new oil in. I've just changed the filter, so the new filter's on. We're ready to top up with oil now. We can pour it into the galley here if we want, then watch it pump out the bar.
Give it a vac out first.
Let's vac out first and get the new oil in. We've got some 2050 to go in. So then we can crank it and you can see that the galley, the spray bar is going to be nice and clean, hopefully. The fact it's got petrol in the oil has probably cleaned this up. It's probably dissolved the gunk, to be fair, but the oil pressure was good. Don't get us wrong, we did check that when it first ever started up, even when it was cranking, that the oil gauge went up. We would not have tried to start it otherwise. So these are just basic Pinto checks now, folks. It looks like the carburetor has managed to clean itself. When we first started the car, if you look at the first video of this vehicle, one of the early Cortina City films from a few weeks ago, end of April I think, you'll see that it was spluttering and smoke was coming out. This is starting to clear itself up a little bit. Might not be out of the woods yet, but it's certainly looking okay. Let's get the oil in. Right, 3.5 litres of oil, 375 litres of oil, that's the last of it. Filling without the rocker cover on, it drains down to the back of the engine. Engine's on a slope, there's a galley feed at the back. Engine sloped so that the oil drains to the back, engine also sloped so it folds underneath the car in an impact, various other reasons. If there's any other reasons why the engines are sloped, let us know, but 2 reasons at least there. Drains the oil back into the galley at the back and also for impact. So we put in that and then Richard's going to crank it and we should get oil coming out the galleys. There might be a slight delay because we've drained down, but I doubt it. The pump will still be primed with old oil actually. That doesn't matter. On the whole, it'll mix it. Yeah, go for it. Yeah. We're off. It's got it. Yeah. If you go this side, Andy, you get a better shot. Do it one more time, Richard. We're going to film from this side. Check for all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Of course, there's 8. 8 to come out of. Let's perfect, clear, golden oil, and all our galleys spray bar holes are clear. So that's good. We can now put the rocker cover back on. Now, Andy, you still on? You'll notice that we've got this cleaned back. And now we're going to get, this is the wider flange one. They changed this later on, so this is a wider rocker cover on an older engine, which is not a problem. This is a slightly wider surface area. We had problems with them. I think it's a wider one. Am I wrong? Yeah. It says it had a wide gasket on it. It looks the wider. Yeah, it is the wider one. So I'll go and see what Stores has got. I should have a wider rocker gasket. Now, do we wet the gasket, Richard, if the cork, or do we?
If the cork, with slight smidgen of grease on it.
Okay, so we're going to grease that up and fit that. So we'll cut to that. I'm about to fit this. I'll see you in a sec. I've put all the tools back, so we're starting again. I like to do that. Oh, it seems crazy.
I do the same, Pete. At the studio, I will put absolutely everything back, even down to clips, leads, everything, and then I'll stop dragging it back out to do the next setup.
Yeah.
So the place looks tidy for 10 minutes, and then it's like back out.
You know we're working, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's better that way.
So I did it when the photographer I worked for, he was like, he used to say like, imagine me as a surgeon, so I just want to put my hand out and slap something in my hand that I need next, and I need you to know where everything is. I mean, if I say I want this, I want that, it says I don't. It says you can put it where you want. I don't want to know. Just want you to know.
Exactly. This is a need to know basis, Andy.
Yeah.
You know because you need to know. This is it. This is James Bond. Need to know time. You know because you need to know. If you don't want to start counting the fingers that you haven't got, I suggest you get them guns. Quick! What do we know about antiques? We rob post offices and steal cars. Inside, outside, I don't give up. You better get them guns. Oh, we sold them. Them old ones outside the car. Inside, outside. Oh, he's off again. Film quote time.
I was watching that.
Oh, my finger.
I was watching that Harry's Garage. I've seen where they put that B12 Jag engine back together.
I think the last one I saw on Harry's when he'd gone to the polar ice. In his
No, he's having his Jag XJC flipping put back together.
Right, good Harry's Garage. He went to Monaco as well. That was a good video.
Yeah.
Don't get a lot of time on YouTube because I'm busy on my stuff, but I try when I can. But it tends to be non-car stuff that I want. Nuts and bolts.
On the edge of the wing.
Magnetically mounted. Yeah. Who put all the tools away?
Where's the 10mm?
13 and the 10. 13, 10, 17, 19. New fuel hose R6 going on. New fuel hose R6 going on.
Let's have a look at that.
That's capital R6. Just in case. It looks alright, the fuel line. And look, here's a very important one. The fuel line here is the ferrule push fit. Prime for coming out and spraying fuel all over your engine bay and catching fire. This is what you don't want. This is the... Let's see if we can demo that. Hold that camera there, Andy. I'll get the play. Just put all the tools away. Let's just see how... If it was due to go. Was ash about to catch fire? We'll see. This is what I'm saying. This brass fitting here, very important if you've got a Pinto engine. It can be in a Capri or anything. This starts to do this. Watch. Wobble, wobble, wobble down the road. Crap idea from Weber. Starting to go. That's opening up already. I think that's the ferrule. I don't think it's the hose. If it is the hose, then it's not tightly clamped down. Maybe this one is okay, but they wobble out of there. This one looks like it's jammed in all right. Probably is. It's just that's going on the hose itself. But you can see the brass getting exposed now. They have a tendency to pop out, and then you've got fuel all over the place and subsequent fire. What we do is put a hose clip on there and zip tie it right round it. It's a quick fix. If you don't want to thread it, you can thread it as well. Later ones are threaded, in which case you're all right. But if you don't see a brass nut fitting here, it means it's the interference fit type, in which case put yourself a hose clip on the end of the pipe here and zip tie it round the body, and that'll hold out too. But this one is the interference fit, so that's what we've got to make sure we do. Cut. Right, well, we thought we got away with this. We haven't. Just look, if your carburetor is this design, watch, with a little bit, it's out. So your petrol pipe is now spraying everywhere. Look at that for bad design. No threads on that, no adhesive or glues, and even they wouldn't be the right way to do it. Look, it just pushes in under its own interference fit. So over time, for whatever reasons, they slowly work their way out, and there you go. So we're going to use some stag seal on this to lock it back in there, but only in conjunction with a zip tie. Without the zip tie on, you would need to be threading this insert, unless you've got another idea. But that's what I would think, to thread that there with a tap. But you'd have to be careful your filings don't go into the bowl, so you've got to be careful how you do it, because you could fill this up with the die cast material, or the aluminium, whatever body that is. I think it's Ali. So you've got to be careful how you do it, folks. But that is the problem with these carbs, and that's what's caused a few engine fires, mine included. I did have the zip tie on, did some servicing work, forgot to put the zip tie on, and Ruby's engine caught fire. If you look through the vids, you'll see Ruby engine fire. Also, we believe the Minder Capri did the same thing, although other people have given other reasons for that car. But either way, it's not a good design. I'm sure you'll agree. Needs addressing. If you haven't got, if you want an adhesive or sealant in your kit of stuff, this is a good one to have in. Stag by Well Seal, or Well Seal by Stag, or the other way around. Anyway, it's called Stag Seals, its nickname. Well Seal make it. We call it Stag Seal, but I've just put some of that, and I'll show you the consistency of it. It's very sort of like a gloopy stuff in a sort of brownish colour, like a goldeny, almost like an oil colour, but it's a very good sealant. It's highly recommended. Google that and just look at the reviews on this. It's just one of those sealants that you need to have. We've just put it on the brass ferrule here, and now we'll put new pipe on, R6 hose. Can use R9, but I'm going for R6. I bet you it lasts at least 5 years. We'll make a note in the car's service history when the brake lines were swapped and the mileage when they were swapped, so that with this new ethanol fuel coming out, at least we've got a record of when the fuel lines were done. Important for you to do that, keep it in the glove box. Replace this hose now, we're almost ready to start the car.
Are you okay with that door yet?
Yeah, there's nothing foul in it.
Round 4.
Right, we're rolling.
Right, Krypton on, oil done, new fuel lines on. Just so that you know, that fuel pipe is called, where it was now, I've lost it. There's the name of the fuel pipe for everybody. Well, we'll get that later when I spot it. Oh, it's here. We're using it as a vac line. Right, so vac line's connected. We took off the PCV inlet and gone on the vac, so we'll get a vac reading on our Krypton over here. What you're looking for on this is if in any needle bounce, you know you've got vac leak. So when it kicks in, we're going to get our HG reading, and I want the needle to be reasonably steady. Obviously, if it changes with engine tone, that's all right, but what you don't want it to do is dance around when the engine isn't altering anything. I'm going to do a battery voltage check now. Press this button here for voltage across the battery. 12.6 across. If we ignition on in a sec, Richard, ignition on, we should have 9 volts. Through the ballast, 8.8, that's fine. And we should be good to start. I'm clear. No. Hold on, let's check we're all connected across the clear. Should just fire on the button, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
I've not took anything off. Oh, hang on, that kingwing's loose. Shouldn't be. Try again.
Clear?
Oh, hold on, my engine kill switch might be in. No, it's not in. Okay.
Fingers?
Fingers. Yeah, a little bit of rest, Rich. Well, that's okay. That's your point gap dwell. 50's alright. I think 43, 46 to 54, that's okay. This is our coil. It's our burn time. So we bring up all 4 traces and then our sparking voltage, looking for those to be even, and that looking alright. Knock out a cylinder. That's our drop on cylinder 1. We're dropping 100, 150 on cylinder 1 drop, cylinder 3 drop, nothing on cylinder 3, cylinder 4, I'll have to look into that, but good. They're all even. Looks okay. It's starting to not idle much now. Okay, put that out. The alternator's a bit intermittent. The dash is connected, isn't it? Alternator's not firing in. You have no amp stroke. You get it down. What it's not there. It's not attacking the alternator. So you get the red light, no red light. Alternator's not picking what people eye on there. Yeah. The red light. I'll wiggle it and see if it comes on, if it's a loose plug.
Yeah.
It's intermittent there.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on the alternator situation there. Okay, I can always check the alternator voltage later. That's it. Okay there. So heater matrix has gone. Heater matrix is rotten, rusting out the bottom. That'll be why he lost water. Sorry, Andy.
Yeah.
Backing out inside here now, full of old bits of foam. Henry to the rescue, folks. Henry to the rescue. Have a sniff in there, Henry. New matrix going in. Straight round. That foam might be a little bit too thick. Might just have the bottom section and not at the top. That might be fine. Just the bottom piece. In she goes. Plate needed just slightly enlarged for that size matrix. Might be a bit of a squeeze on it. He might have come up to it. No, it's not good. It's the phone, put me in. Folks, let me just climb aboard Ash's GXL, put in the keys, press the choke, and you're good to go. So we've got that engine running pretty good. It's a little bit lumpy when it's first cold, but I think it's going to get better and better. That sounds great. How about that? So while we're on with doing this, I thought, well, I may as well just do a few little tweaks and help Ash out a little bit more, fix this dashboard. Doesn't need much. There's a little tab, a little copper. If you can see that square right in the middle of your screen now, that's one of the bulb receptacles. That's for the general illumination of the clocks. Little copper tab, it's snapped off so the bulb contacts don't make it. So we're going to solder on a little extended tab there, a little bit of copper track, just so that bulb lights up. And I'm fitting LEDs for him. These ones here, these LED chip on board lamps, they aren't as good as the Philips ones. They're bright. I don't know if they've got as much life, but Ash might not be heavy use of the car, so he might be alright with these. If he finds that they eventually fail, they're very easy to swap. It's just that I had them in stock. They do give a great light output, but I think that they run a little bit warm and probably, you know, not the best in terms of long life, not like the Philips ones, but Ash can pick to get them if he wants, and it's a very easy swap. It just gets him up and running. Now you might hear that little rattling sound. Let's take you in and listen. That noise is unique to all Cortinas with the servo on. It's the servo one-way valve rattling as the vac, the engine HGs vary. If you rev, you'll hear that it goes off. And I never knew that. I spotted it when I did Bramble, and I thought the rev counter was rattly. I thought there was something loose, but it wasn't. All cars do it. All Cortinas do it. Whether fitting a brand new one-way valve cures it, I don't know, because on all my cars do it, and at least 2 of them have got new one-way valves on. So it's a Cortina thing. It's annoying. I'd like to get a retrofit mod for that, because it annoys me. But yeah, all Cortinas do that rattle, the brake servo valve rattle. If you're ever behind your dash trying to find out an annoying rattle, go under the engine bay. You wouldn't think it'd transmit into the car, but it does. Okay, so Andy's very kindly cleaned the carpets yesterday, and we need some other little bits and bobs doing. Well, we're going to take this back to Ash now as soon as that valance is on the front. We're nearly done here. It's a shorter video than I thought. I thought we'd be getting a bit more out of this, but we've done it quick, so we can put it on Dave's truck and take it back. So yeah, not bad. I'll just do this dash, put that back together, and then I think we're done here. Let's get it shipped back out. I just need to weld the valance on. It'll take a day to do the front valance. We'll film that as well, make it all one film, and then move on to the next project. So yeah, if I can think of anything, little niggly jobs that don't take much time and money, I'll do them for Ash for nothing. We may as well. It's a little bit of fun. And so we'll give it a quick clean up, and that heaters work great. I had to fit a new matrix to it, heater matrix to it, but it's red hot, beautiful heat. I've greased up, I've oiled up these control rods so these levers are a bit easy to move. Gauges all work. They won't show at the moment because the dash is disconnected. Gauges, temperature and fuel does not read if the dash is unplugged, because you're disconnecting this little voltage regulator here, which controls the voltage to the gauges. It's a 5-volt regulator effectively. Cycle time ends up being 5 volts. It's basically a bimetallic strip inside that there. They're reasonably reliable. It pings off and on, off and on, off and on, and by averaging out the voltage, it becomes a voltage stabilizer. Stops your gauges from bouncing around. So that's good. It needs a time clock, and that's the original reason why Ash got in touch with me. It was all about buying this clock. I thought this clock was working. It's not. There is 12 volts to the back, so the clock mechanism stopped. It'll be the relay contacts inside. Probably just give him a new clock, to be fair. Could repair this. It's up to Ash. The repair cost will probably be the same as buying it new, or a second-hand one that works. So I'll see. Take it apart and see. While I do this, I'll clean the high beam blue lens, because it's got the sellotape that sticks these lenses on inside here to get the colours, the green, the blue, the red for ignition, alternator light rather, the green for the indicators, the blue for the high beam. The sellotape crinkles and you get a sort of not a nice smooth indicator lamp. You can see like undulations or creases in it, if you will. So all you do, you take the little coloured disc off, clean off the old sellotape and re-sellotape them on, and that makes the lights nice and uniform. As I said, with those LED lights for the general illumination, the clocks will be nicely brightly lit. With Ash possibly only using the car weekends, you might get a lot more life out than I do when I'm constantly using the car, so we may find that these LEDs work. We shall see for those. It's just that I had them. The Philips ones are expensive as well. We need to talk to Ash about spending tons and tons of money. Okay. Gearbox, I topped up the oil we are selecting all the gears okay. The Borg Warner box, as opposed to a C3. It may have a gearbox leak. Ash did indicate that was the situation, but I've not spotted it yet. So we'll have to see. If it has got a leak, it's probably the tail shaft leak from the prop shaft. Now you may find that because it was parked in Ash's garage for so long that it hadn't kind of like bedded in, or it stuck in a position where it was allowing it to weep, and you find that using it might bed that seal back. It might start sealing itself. If not, it's a simple case of getting a seal extractor, which is like a pick, dragging out the seal and putting a new one in. Pretty easy job. Other than that, Pete C has finished with the electrics and things like that, and we've just got to get Richard to help us. Andy's going to come in and give it a bit, Chris is going to come in and give it a little bit, and we're good to go. Okay, here I am operating. I'm reading the camera menu there. There's my installing the clock for Ash's Bradford GXL, a new one out of the box and then calibrated, then put back in the box. So I'd gone through these new old stock clocks that I have last Christmas. I think I did it, not with George Michael, just on my own, and I did a slight calibration. You'll never get them perfect, these. They change with ambient temperature. They're not the best mechanism in the world. Ash's was broke. Looks like he's tried to fix it, but I know that Ash, because there's a stud missing off here. You've been in. If you've not, someone else has. But don't worry, we all have to try. So put Ash's bit back together, and then back into that box. We'll mark that up as faulty. Looks like it's stuck. Flywheel is in the open position. Contacts haven't come together, so that's some kind of sticking mechanism in there. But that's the end of that. We won't be looking at that just yet. So the clock face I had on the new old stock one was for an XL. They have a slightly smaller circle inside if you look. XL on your left, GXL on your right, and also depending on if your clock is on the left or the right, you've got to swap your colours for your indicator and your ignition or high beam, depending if it's on that side. And when they're talking about those stickers in a sec, here they are on the back there. The sellotape on this one is in good order actually. Okay, so that's not wasn't needed to have been done, although having said that, of course, that was new old stock. The ones off the original clock face, the decals on that were also good. But I do know that the indicator on the left of the clock here, you can see it that it's wrinkled, and the high beam was wrinkled. So we're going to take the rev counter out of Ash's dashboard there and just fix those decals. But the new time clock is in and tested, so that's great. So I'll just put all these parts back together, reassemble this and place it up marked faulty, then clean those logos up, the green for the indicator, the blue for the high beam, take the old sellotape off, a little bit of WD-40 is all you need, then wipe down till it's bone dry so that otherwise the sellotape won't stick. It's got to be absolutely clean. I'll just use an ethanol cleaner. Any traces of the oil that I used to get the sellotape off, and then put it back on, and that should be that clock done. Oh, we've got to repair we've got to solder the tab. You can flip the dash like this, it's okay. Got to fix this tab here. There we go. This little tab has just snapped. It's not long enough for the contacts of the bulb holder to make it, so we need to just extend that. looking at it from this side, actually, do you know what? It's actually folded under itself. It's not snapped. It actually saves us a job. It's just folded in. So, oh, that saves some work. I mustn't have spotted that earlier on. We're okay, we're good to go there. That's one less job, no need to get the soldering iron out. So these do sometimes break here. Bring it up parallel, they do sometimes break. So the clock fits in there, as I said, GXL and XL, face different and also indicator position, but that can easily be swapped. Rest of everything else looks good. Okay, so we no need to check that. So voltage regulator is working. Circuit board itself's in good order. So the whole dash really is okay. I can put this back together now. I don't have to do any soldering. I'm just going to reassemble the clock there. Let's get this back in the car. Off we go. Okay, here's the damaged sellotape I was telling you about. Just wrinkles up, as you can see. Slightly opaque, so you don't get that nice clear light shining through it. For example, on the high beam it was very sort of subdued, if you will, and you can see why. The sellotape film has gone slightly opaque there, which dims down them bulbs. So once they're cleaned back and re-sellotaped on, when we put the lamp back in and run it, it's a much more cleaner, uniform dashboard light. Okay, so that's all we're going to do, and then we're done with this little cluster. Put it back into the car. Okay, I fitted the two new pieces of sellotape covering, cleaned the lenses back, so blue and green indicating high beam, back into here. There's a reason they use blue for high beam. It's because it's the easiest colour on the eye for nighttime driving, which is why when your high beam lamp is on, you wouldn't want a green lamp on. The wavelength of the blue is the most comfortable colour on the eye, which is why high beam lamps are blue. Bolts on, back in the dash. Okay, that's in. I'm just testing it now. Steering wheel's in the way a little bit for you there. We've got no indicators at the front, so fast flashing. Here's our high beam now. You see what I mean? Nice uniform blue. And our green there. Ignition over to the right, and again down for green. And the LED's looking nice on the dash, I think. They are down as white, but they're so white that you get the blue plastic reflecting and creating a more of a blue finish. That's the original bulb finish, very dim. So they do improve the instrumentation. LEDs do improve the situation, folks, you know that. Just got to get the right ones. It's all about the right ones. Right, I'm going to call it a day for tonight. Ash's dash, it rhymes, is in. Interior light switch wires aren't working. We'll have to look at them next. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay, we are degreasing down the engine bay. You might remember it was covered in that black Schultz stuff. Well, I've been working it a little bit. It took all day to do. And we're using the Mk3 degreaser. I think it's a citrus-based degreaser, but it makes light work of this. But take about 4 or 5 jet washes down and then degreasing. What I'm doing, get the engine hot as well. Heat up the whole engine bay, okay? I'll step inside and talk about it. So what I'll do is just get in the car. It's running like a dream, by the way. Let's just get in. Dashboard's back in there last night, of course. So I'm just getting the car up to temperature. I have to keep our eye on the fuel now. I'm burning the fuel up here. But Pete's seat is here and we're getting it up to temp. Put the bonnet down, let that degreaser get all hot, and it starts to attack layer by layer all that sprayed on Schutz. Schutz has got to come off so we can see how good the condition of the engine bay is, and also because it looked a bit untidy. Now you could now be in a position to repaint the bay if you wanted, or reapply perhaps a cleaner coating of body protection under there, perhaps just give it a light waxing. rather than all that messy shuts. Because the problem with the shuts, for me anyway at least, it's getting in my hair because I'm touching the bonnet, it's getting on my hands, under my nails, it's everywhere. I can't work with that stuff. It's horrid, it looks horrible. You may argue it saved the car. Yes, so we've got to hand it to it. It's probably stopped it from rotting. Certainly the Z-Bar treatment in this car has saved it. They have really Z-Barted it. I mean, it's got Z-Bar plugs in sort of extra above and beyond places. They've just, the scuttle's not gone, the B-pills haven't gone, the sills haven't gone, the back valance lower is original. It's incredible how much of the car is in good order. You know, and that's down to Z-Bart. So that's what saved this. So, you know, always worth buying a Z-Barted car. That temperature gauge is now coming up. We're red hot in here, by the way, with the new Matrix. Absolutely red hot. Well, I'm not going to get my fan on, simply because there's a loose fuse holder. We need to sort that out. So I'm going to put the bonnet down and get the jet wash. I've got a hot wash going on, so I've connected the jet wash to a hot water feed. So we're really going to give it some beans now and get the remainder of that shuts off and just get it back to clean metal. I don't mind if there's patches of rust. I don't mind if it looks, you know, scabby under that, as long as we're not getting covered in grease, because the shuts is just that horrible sticky gooey stuff. Okay, let's go and remove the remains of it. Richard's on his way. He's going to help me with the front valance, so we're going to be drilling some spot welds as well soon. Then we're ready to get the car back. I'm trying to get it out within a week. We've only really got a week to do this. We've all both got to go back to work. We've all got to get back in. We've got jobs to do. So just, as I said to Ash, I'll do whatever I can in a week and try and help you as much as I can. And after that, pretty much on your own, but we'll try and do the bulk of the jobs. Okay, over and out for now. Join us as Richard Valentino himself joins us. We're going to take this front valance off now. Many hands make a lighter work. First job, these fixing screws, top of the wing, get them off. Second job, reveal all the spot welds along this lip. You've seen me do these before. You've got all your spot welds along this lip here. We're going to drill them from underneath. First we'll use the knot wheel coming into your screens now, just to get the paint off. Same down on the lower section. Then there's two curved sections here for the inner front lower valance. Reveal those. That'll require some paint being removed. A little bit of mess will happen now. We'll vac as we go. We're trying to keep it clean. Then once all the spot welds are drilled, it should fall off. Then we can prep the new panel. We'll get some weld through primer on it. We'll put some, we're going to use the what's it called, my special paint that I've got. I'll mix that up. It's in Ford Primer Brown. I forget what it's called now. I had the paint spec sheet when I was doing Project Bramble, but I'll tell you about that when I dig it out the paint tin. But we'll prep the panel before it goes on with its weld through. Then a combination of spot welds and plug welds to get this new panel fitted, and then that's the job done. The car came in for the valance, so let's get that on and get it back to Bradford. I'll be dropping off in Bradford tomorrow. What we're doing, we've marked the spot welds. Which is just putting a little pilot drill in, so that when we use the cutter here, this is our Bergen spot weld cutter. It just helps the pilot there to lock into the hole. You can just push them up and they have that centre punch pin, but we find they always skid off. So these should drill out now. What we'll do once we've drilled them, slice the complete middle of the valance because it's getting thrown away, because inevitably you never, well, sometimes you can hit every single one and they'll just go, but it's easy if you just slice this paneling off and rock it, and any that are just on the edges, they'll just ping and snap off. So we're just going to cut that in half. But we'll drill the spot welds first. Here we go for the spot weld drill bit. There it is. It's a nice little units, and I got those from Bergen, which are supposed to be a bit better than the Chinese ones. You got any debris built up in there now? Just check, because you can just press it. Yeah, if you press it, it should start popping out little bits of metal.
Yeah.
So I think these
They fill up, don't
they fill up the end of the spot weld drill bit with the waste material. I think there's a technique for cleaning these out. I can never remember what I did now.
No,
it's amazing how quick
just push.
It's amazing how quick you forget. So you'll notice that it's not doing anything. That's because the nugget's in there. We've got a pilot in that one. See that, because that one's not piloted all the way through. That's what happens. They slip.
Yeah, that one popped.
Yeah, that one definitely popped. The panel released some of its tension there. So we're getting good progress. We'll carry on working these. We'll be right back with you. Hold on, we'll be right back. I'll let Richard do most of the hard work. I'm lying on my back, you see. I think I'll just stay down here. Get to the chopper! See you in a sec. You do all the work, Rich. I'll just lie down.
I'll crack on.
We'll try and bring it. We've probably got one in it there on that vertical. We find that now and drill it out. We've got that piece and cut. Okay, we're making good progress. These have all gone. Do you want to rock that, Richard? Hit them bang on target and this side. 2 to go there. They've gone. Someone had already been butchering away. That wasn't us. I think that was already done. And what we're going to do, you can go underneath now and get these spot welds here. But it's easier if you slit. We're going to put the angle grinder cutting disc. If you hold the cutting disc, Rich, I'm just showing where we're going to go. We're going to go
into that corner
all the way along, then take the whole panel away. Then we'll break it open at one end and we're going to unpick it like a bean tin and roll it round. It's just that little bit easier, especially because here the drill is up against the red shape, the bulge in the front valance, and the drill bit is hard to get in to get onto these spot welds. So to make life easier, and there's no reason why we shouldn't make life easier, the panel's scrapped, so it doesn't matter. If you were trying to salvage the panel to use on another car, then you wouldn't be doing it this way. But because the panel's scrap, we can make that cut along there, then bean tin it off like a thin, long strip of metal, and that way, when you reach a stubborn spot weld, the pliers will tell you that you've hit a dead end, and you can sort of rewind the pliers, open it up again, either drill it or just rock it. So we're going to do that. We're going to make a cut, then the whole section of metal should come off. It's a bit tricky to get the angle grinder cutting disc in up against that leg, so we might have to cold chisel that, but we'll get most of it. The other piece is off very nicely. Have a look at this. It just pinged off nice. Look at that. There we go. There's the lower section of it. And good news for Ash, the inside panel is in pretty good order. It's survived 75%, maybe 80% survival, with no rot on the lip. Just a little bit outboard either side, which we'll make some new little angles for. But all in all, the inner valance panel, that troublesome inner valance panel, is in good order, with a few little mini repair pieces of steel angled. Richard, you're going to shape some stuff for that. Pete C's out of a job. So let's go, let's get the cutting disc in, and we'll cut this off and remove this large section of metal. So you're looking at the front lower valance Cortina Mk3. Express steel panels have made the new one. We'll offer that up later on, but first let's get this big chunk out of the way. Here we go, slitting disc time now. Load up our little knot wheel off. That was our knot wheel we were using to expose the welds. Expose the spot welds. Oh, watch your hands. Do you want a rag for that? I think you do.
I need the spanner again for it.
Right, we're locking up on this. But yeah, if you just hit your spot weld, so we use a little marker pen to mark the dimple of the spot weld, then we pilot drill it out with what was that, a 3mm bit, a 4mm bit we just used
yeah.
to just pilot it out. And the Bergen spot weld drill bits I've found, and remember off my previous welding videos, the Bergens, they're very good. They're much better than the cheapy ones. So spend a little bit more money on a set. I'm going to say these Bergen ones are good. eBay, I got them, I think 20 quid. You get the whole set. They're chewing through the metal, and then you get the flat-ended drill bit too. So yeah, we're chewing through this. Going good so far. Brings back loads of memories for me. A couple of years since I've done this job. Slitting disc. Now be really careful with these slitting discs. You cannot take no chances with this, especially if you're at an awkward angle when you're doing it. You need to be nice and comfortable. You need to think of your body position and the way that if it does kick, which way is that slitting disc and angle grinder going to try and fly off. So bear that in mind, because if you've got it such that it flies back towards you, then you're going to take a chunk out of your face here. So you cannot underestimate. This is the one tool you really can't mess with, simply because it's got the potential to cut into your body. And I do know someone who's in the body shop game, he's not far from me, where this went into his chest between his ribs, right, and just missed one of his vital organs, don't know which it was, which organ it, but that can cut between you, it can cut your face. So you've got to position yourself at the car such that you feel comfortable in the position, and it's a position where your body is going to take good control of this tool, and if it does kick and grab, then it's going to dance away from you, not towards you. So bear that in mind, and always have your ear defenders and goggles on for this, because it can kick up. You don't want to be in the eye hospital. There's no point trying to be brave and not wear protective equipment. You'll soon be regretting it when you're down the A&E. Right, let's cut off. Lecture over. I watch my Osmo Pocket, it's not like those other cameras that could take the hits. This hasn't got a shield on it. The other ones you could screw the shield off, and this hasn't got a shield. And that's the end of that. A little bit holding on for life, but it won't be up for long. Yeah, one last cut. The first pieces of scrap metal, add them both together, discard them. I'll take these out so they're out of the way. We don't want to be tripping. What we'll do, as soon as we've done the bean tin operation, we'll have another hoover up. We've already tied it up once, we're going to do it again. Let's get this scrap metal out of the way. There goes the remains of the old valance, gone. Into the scrap for recycling. We're away. We're pinging already. There's another ping. So just bean tin it. These ones just fell off for a change. You can always revisit it. I think, was it gone? You got it? Yeah. So we're just unwinding it, as you can see, using those long noses that grip on. They're very handy as well. We've got that one gone. We're nearly gone here. Only been on this a few minutes, so a bit of precision engineering on Richard's behalf as he hits every spot though. Ping again. Boom! And you're good to go. Whoa! Nearly took me out then. There we go. So that's that being tinned off. So that's a better technique, folks, if you're doing a Mark III. And that leaves you nice, clean edge. I'm going to put the torch up so you can see. Let me just check what's on the lens of the camera. Yes, it's got it. There you go. There's your run down there. Trying to get it for you now. And you can see all we've got to do is clean that metal up and prime it. Sorry, I'll back into shot for you. We clean, that's a lovely clean run there. So no damage to the upper, a very clean pro job. We can either spot weld, we'll have to look at the situation, see if the spot weld's got the power to punch through. And we'll just see, if not we plug weld and hide the plug welds, keeping the original spots on top so you'll never know it's been changed. So if we can't get through the original spots, we can drill through this and plug weld from the top. It is the easier option. Then body fill over those, leaving the original spot welds as they were. That is probably the easiest way, with two more little rogue ones down this end, and we're ready to offer the panel up. How quick was that? Great stuff. It's action now. Okay, all spot welds are drilled. The old panel is off. We quickly buzzed up and cleaned back down, and Richard will now offer up express panels component, front valance. A little bit of a squeeze in between the wings, but tight is what we want. Oh, boof! Boof! Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Get them clamps on there, lad. Come on, I stand. Clamp that up. Woo! Whoa! That's English for stop a horse. This is going on like a dream. Rich, it's too easy. Something must go wrong. Nope, not at Express, it doesn't. That panel, beautiful. That is a nice job. Again, we've said it before, but official Ford licensed products from Express. Now, you might say I'm plugging them. Yeah, I am plugging them because they're absolutely bang on, that's why. Look at that, it just snaps into place. So all we've got to do now with this, we're going to prep the panel with some primer, special primer that I've got. I forgot what, still can't remember what it's called. There's a bit of seam sealer to go in between the wing join and the lower valance. Some holes to drill here for our plug welds. We may or may not be spot welding it. We're probably going to drill between the spots, plug, then fill over that way. That way we're going to a better hit, because it's not brand new metal. I'm wary that the spot welder is going to try spot welding through some of the rust, whereas when I did it, I was welding all new metal. With this being second-hand metal onto new, I think we might be safer to plug the top run, and these two down there, bolts on at the side, 2 screws in at the top for the wings, and that's it. So this will probably get plug welded as opposed to the spot. Another reason for that is there's already spots in at the top here for the factory look, so there's no need to try and replicate them. We just drill between each spot, plug into that, then cap it with some probably dolphin glaze over the top, and you'll never know. It'll be a nice solid weld onto the panel, and that is it. That's it for today's little hit. We're going to get back on this at some point this week. I'll check with Richard when he's free, and we'll get back on it. So we'll catch you tomorrow. Right, I'm just going to take you in. We are nearly prepped on this. Come with me now, I'll flip you around. Round you go. Pre-drill these because the spot welder's not going to get in them. So we'll plug those. We'll pinch that up tight. If we can't get the clamps in, you can always tech screw and fill your tech screw hole later if you want. You can pull that in with a tech screw if you want, if you can't get the clamps. So it's going to take a particularly long arm clamp to get in there. We're flush fitting all along the tops. The grips are on, holding it in place. We're going to try a spot weld. I did manage it on Project Ruby, and that was an original panel. It wasn't a new panel, so we might do it. We'll give it a rock test and just see. If it pings too easy, we'll drill and plug like we've done here. That's 9. There's going to be 8 or 10. We went in the middle for 9 for the plugs. So we would try and spot weld all the way along the top. Along the bottom, we're going to have to jack the car up. We should be able to get the spot weld in, but because the engine's there, when I did that my Valance, I didn't have my engine in. So depending on the claws of the spot welder, we might not be able to get in. It could be upside down plugging, which I don't really like the sound. I think that might be a job for Richard. We'll see. We're going to try a spot weld in a sec. We'll be right back. The spot welding's working, so we're going to carry on. Richard's new on the spot welder. A little bit of a jiggle, a bit of a 1-2. Whoa, yeah, and again. Get that nice. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, hey, on fire. I like it. Look at these welds, folks. Really nice, deep dimples. It's going through all 3 layers, so the spot weld is up to the job. We've reprofiled the bits at the end, so we're just... Richard's on it. He's loving it. He's absolutely... Oh, he's off like a little rocket. Whoa, that way! We are spot welding, folks, for Ash's front Valance. We have a nice finish. Pete's normally doing this. Everyone's going to say, Pete, what's going on? Richard's took over. Bang! Boof! I'm getting better sparks than I got. I do like it when a spot welder gets going. You know that, folks, from other videos when you've seen me. If you go back on the films, you'll see me riding the spot welder like a horse. Today it's Richard's turn to play. One thing I did learn, Rich, if you get too close to the Valance upper wall, it'll burn through it. And did it have a go then? Did it have a cheeky go then?
No, it was
Oh,
all
watch
good.
it. Have a cheeky go at burning through that bit.
Through the back
Yeah,
edge.
you got to watch that, yeah. Richard's actually been welding longer than I have. But is it the first time I've spot welded for you, or? He's got big arms as Richard. I feel like the weakling round here. I've been going to the gym. I've a long way to catch up with this muscle department. Right, there goes the trip out on the fuse. It takes that much power, we occasionally trip our fuse out. We shall carry on. I shall show you the finished result. Hopefully we can get underneath, but you can already see here, if we go down, how it's looking. So we're going between the factory welds, so you've got more spot welds than you would get. Now if you really want to, you could infill, and pick which ones you want to infill if you didn't want to show that many. Depends how crazy you are about originality and stuff, but you could say, right, well, a spot weld counter will come, oh, there's too many spot welds along that front edge. Well, if you want, you can dolphin glaze a few out. It's not a problem. We'll carry on with this. Spot welder's going good, better than I thought. I'm glad I kept hold of that. There's a better one on its way from Scotland, but I'm going to keep running both spot welders. Paul from Scotland's got me one as well. About a year ago I was supposed to go and pick it up. We're going to carry on going. Looking good. That one's fighting. Probably a little bit of resistance there. Go again. It'll go. That's the one. There you go. Sometimes you just got to tickle it, haven't you?
Yeah, it's a good little tickle.
The panel is an absolute perfect fit. It's just completely flush. We've not really tried. We haven't gone above and beyond to line this up. We basically just slotted it back on where the old one come off. I tell you, that shows you how good the Express steel panels from Valance is. I'm not plugging them. I'm not affiliated to Express. I just think where credit's due, you should dish it out. And that, it's such a skilled job as well to make that panel. You know, they've made that panel, and then for it just to slot into place like this deserves credit. I think you'll agree with me on that one, because we know that's like, you know, just a great piece of work. It's all lined up. We're ready to try and get the spot weld under, and we might not get it in every single one. We'll have a go. Let's see what we can do. Yeah. I think that's it. That's it. Whoa! Oh! I need skimming in. You've got, yeah, you've got the same as me, but it's got it. Just you've got to be skimmed anyway. It's not going nowhere.
Yeah, you've got one right there, haven't
Yeah, I've got one on the end. Nice finish. A hole, a big hole in the usual place. I mean, to be fair, the car is solid. You're going to expect something. And this is how they begin to rot. This is how it works. If the car carries on like this with damp carpets and continued use, somehow scraping through MOT somehow, and then the rust will just carry on and just spread outwards from this point. That's how you get those big holes appearing. This is pretty early in the stages, so we can catch it with a repair piece. Localised plating on this. We are not going to rip out the entire inner sill. It's not worth it because it's solid further up. So a repair piece is going to be placed into this hole here. We've got no choice. Otherwise, whoever drives this car will be getting wet feet. So. How's it going down there, boy? Repairs are going nice here. Look at that beautiful job. Oh hell yeah. We managed to find, we had an inner sill in stock. So Richard has shaped a piece for the floor there. I mean, we're on a budget here, so we can't start letting stuff in level. So we're in there with a nice piece, solid, and then a piece of inner sill repair section, nicely shaped. It's following all the curves. And it's going to do what we need to do very nicely, because obviously we can't start dipping the shell, we can't start taking it all to pieces. We've got to work what we've got, clean back as much as we can, a little bit of fumes, but the door is open on the garage,
We've got a jacking point to refabricate, and then a little bit of weld to clean up, dress it up, paint it, treat it, put the tar pad back on. I'll get some tar pads tomorrow, and I think a seam seal at the top of the inner sill where it meets the A panel, that's as the factory had them. A little bit of shaping to do, not much, but big credit out to our welder in the house, Mr. Alex Valentini is on the job. Whoa! He just
Richard Valentini is not there.
sorry, Richard Valentini. It's the fumes, the fumes, the fumes, the drone. How's it going, Rich? Some nice little bits of metal going on. So we're making just a refixing the jacking point. Got a new little bit of metal we've made. And then with a little plate there cleaned up and ready. And this will just tidy this area up, offer that up, Rich. Tidies up that little bit nice. But we don't want to take the whole panels off and start dipping the shell. Of course, we're just trying to get it how we wanted. That'll go on to that. So it's going to look a little bit more factory finish. So we'll just get our spot welded on. We'll try it with the spot weld. It might go on. We'll see. Okay. Richard nearly got electrocuted. Pete goes on about safety. What we got, boy? Whoa! He got a little tingle. Right, let's get onto that. Better get onto that. It's my fault. Whoops.
So what's this you're soldering, Pete?
This is one of the headlamp relay outputs. Someone had spliced into it and left bare wires. So just neaten it back up, put a bit of heat shrink on there, slide that over now, and it's just get the heat gun on it. It's just repairing the loom. Some people have been cutting into the loom, you know.
Ah, yeah.
So that's that. Heat needles on. Shrink that down.
What will it been spliced into for?
I think
Extra lamps or something?
he had fog lights on it, so it's pulling the feed off this.
Yeah.
The trigger feed, but it was badly done. It's better now. That's like that, nice and neat there. I know it's black. I would have used white heat shrink really, but I ain't got any white heat shrink. But it would have been nice with some white. However, it's tucked in like that, and it's okay. It's not bad.
That's original
Yeah,
sticker
they
there.
didn't all have them, you know. This is for a Pinto. It is I noticed it's the Pinto one. A lot of them were on like stickers stuck on for Kent's, and it was a Pinto car, but it is Pinto.
Yeah.
So, and it is original, so I might get them, because I didn't think they were. I didn't think they were, but it is originally on the car.
Yeah.
Unless someone did stick it on after, but it is a Pinto decal.
Well, look at the
Yeah,
number
there.
on the bottom, 71.
Yeah, I know. Just not every car has that decal on it. So I don't know why they didn't put them on every single car, but some have them and some don't.
It's good though, it proves it's original, you know,
Yeah,
it shows its originality, doesn't it?
I think it's been stuck on because it's all covered in that Z-bar, or, you know, that tar under here. We've got most of the tar off now. It took ages to get that tar off.
Let's have a look at finished repair then.
Yeah. Miles better. Very good. You've done this before, haven't you?
Once or twice.
Oh yeah, that's nice.